Welcome back to the Budget Gamer channel, where we bring you critical and in-depth reviews of just about every indie game we can get our hands on. And today we're going to be taking a look at Galaxy Warfighter for the Nintendo Switch. And while this game definitely promises and delivers that old school retro vibe for a space-themed shoot-'em-up, you might want to stick around for the whole review. Starting off with the story like we always do, we really don't get one for Galaxy Warfighter. There's no premise, there's really no background, and there's no setting or scenario that would push us forward to complete all of the game's levels. It is purely feed-in-the-quarter arcade-style gaming. So moving directly into the gameplay, and this is something that might actually turn off a lot of gamers just right off the get-go. We start off in a ship's hangar with zero cash, so no potential for upgrades right off the bat, but then jump right into level 1 with an automatically firing side-scrolling shoot-'em-up. So if you are a real retro enthusiast, you might not actually like the gameplay that consists mainly just of dodging or maybe using a button every now and then for a special ability, but for somebody without as rich of a background in the space shooter style games, in Galaxy Warfighter, even though the shooting is automatic, it definitely still offers a lot of challenge, so it can still be a pretty satisfying gameplay regardless. If you read the eShop description, you realize that Galaxy Warfighter offers 100 levels. Yeah, 100 levels in a little indie game. And so I was pretty surprised how they were going to carry this out. As there are 100 levels in the game, as I just mentioned, the difficulty curve is pretty gradual. You start off with very simple gameplay with very easy to manage enemy waves. And even with zero upgrades, it's fairly easy to keep up with the progress. But as the game progresses, every few levels introduces a new random enemy into the gameplay, and at the end of every single level there is a boss fight. So by the time you make it into levels 30 and 40, and they even start introducing asteroids that can damage your ship, and when you get into level 60 and above, the gameplay becomes nigh impossible with massive waves of enemies with hugely increased HP bars and just massive hellstorms of bullets. And of course, if you do survive that level on your minimal HP, you will be confronted with a boss. But as I mentioned before, this isn't all building up to fuel the inevitable rage quit. If you die, or if you successfully complete a mission, you have the option to move forward, restart, or go back to the hangar at the beginning of the start screen. And after collecting a handful of coins from the wreckage of the enemy ships, you have the opportunity to purchase upgrades to your weapon's power, your ship's HP, its shields, and even drones, which can be partially independently controlled, or wave clear mechanics, or even the ability to stop time. And as you play through the game and get further and further in, all of these upgrades will be necessary to help you push just a few levels further to purchase that next upgrade. Looking at the game's visuals, it's obviously one of the biggest sells of the game. They are really gorgeous for what the game is. It still maintains a retro vibe even with the HD backgrounds and the really high quality animations for each of the enemy's ships and their attacks. And though the sound portfolio of the game isn't really terribly memorable, it suits the gameplay really well and definitely isn't a distraction. But as always, with all the good, there is a little bit of bad, and some things that a player would definitely want to consider before diving in. In the indie game market, with a price tag of $6.99 if it's not on sale, there are a few expectations of game quality. Visuals, audio, gameplay, controls, everything is super tight and looks really good, but there's a couple of issues with the game's actual execution. And one of these, oddly enough, is the fact that Galaxy Warfighter offers 100 levels of gameplay. And more chiefly, this is due to the fact that the game only offers about 10 different enemies and 4 different bosses for all 100 levels. Which, if you're thinking it, yeah, that does equal quite a bit of repetition. The only thing that really changes as the game progresses is the addition of a new enemy every few levels or so, the increase of enemy HP, and the increase of the number of enemies that'll come at you at one time. The other consideration is actually for the out-of-game power-ups as well as the in-game random item power-ups. The out-of-game upgrades to your ship are absolutely necessary, but they max out really quick. So if you start playing the game with a certain playstyle, as I always do upgrading weapons first, you start to nurture a certain playstyle for wave control. But as soon as you cap out your weapons, you'll be forced to upgrade other areas to be able to continue playing, which isn't a bad thing, it's definitely not game breaking, but it'll force the player to adapt to a playstyle that might not be as comfortable. As far as in-game item drop style upgrades, the real consideration here is that they're not permanent and they don't last for the duration of the level. You can't pick up extra lives, even though you can pick up recharges to your shields, and any upgrades to your blaster weapon in the game, as we would expect from most space shooter style games to be constant evolution. In Galaxy Warfighter, it's pretty much a 10-second +1 to whatever weapons you brought into the game. And as you keep playing, you'll become much more reliant on special abilities such as your wave clear ability or the ability to stop time than you really will be on your shields or even the power of your blaster. And in that sense, overall, as a total package, Galaxy Warfighter does look to really offer this classic arcade-style side-scrolling space shooter. But it also comes with the addition of a few more modern-style innovations that especially classic gamers that would be instantly drawn to a game like this might not really appreciate. And with 100 repetitious levels, it redetermines the gameplay style from a marathon to achieve a giant objective to maybe a more short-sitting game where you just kind of sit down and play a few levels at a time. So in that sense, if you are a more casual style gamer, or if you're somebody who games on their commute and only has a few minutes at a time, Galaxy Warfighter might actually be a pretty fun experience. But if you're planning to relive the glory days of Super R-Type, Galaxy Warfighter might fall a little bit short of the expectation. But anyway, that does about wrap up the review of Galaxy Warfighter now on the Nintendo Switch. So if you enjoyed the review, or especially if you found it helpful, feel free to throw me a like or a comment to show your support. And don't forget to click that little bell icon when you subscribe to stay updated with the latest content. This is still a pretty small channel that's growing quickly, and I am thankful. But every like, every comment, and especially every subscription to the channel really does count. And with new and unique indie games coming out literally every single day, there's always going to be some cool game to discover right here. And whether you're a new or returning fan, if you really like what we do here on the Budget Gamer channel, covering all these unknown indies and giving more critical insights than you're ever going to find on the eShop, I would be really happy to welcome you into our small crew of Patreons. Not only do they actually help me create the channel, buy the games, and give me really good insights on how to develop the content, but they also get advance notice and advance access to all the channel's reviews. But anyway, this has been the Budget Gamer, so as always, thanks for watching.